The bench at Gate 11 of the Halvari Transitway Station was not built for human proportions, and I had known this since my first layover here 6 years ago. The backrest hit me at the wrong angle and the seat material, some kind of pressed mineral fiber, cold even in a heated terminal, had a way of working itself into the lower back after 20 minutes. I had been sitting on it for 3 hours. Sergeant was under the bench. He had been asleep since the second hour, his gray chin resting on the instep of my left boot, his belly rising and falling with the unhurried patience of a thing that has never once in its life experienced urgency. He was 11 years old, and he carried it the way old dogs carry everything, completely, without complaint, and with a total indifference to anyone who had opinions about it. I was working on my second cup of station coffee, which was terrible. The Halvari brew their stimulants from something that smells like burnt copper and tastes worse, but it was hot and it was cheap, and my connecting transport to Veth Station didn't board for another 40 minutes. I had a manifest to sign when I got there. Consultant work. I do 3 or 4 jobs a year now, mostly advising smaller colonial operations on supply chain logistics. It keeps the pension from feeling like charity, and it gives Sergeant somewhere new to sleep. The terminal was busy. It usually is at the Halvari way station. They run one of the busier transit hubs in this sector, and the Halvari themselves are efficient administrators. Whatever else you want to say about them. Robed officials, armored dock staff, cargo crew in matching coveralls arguing about a loading manifest near Gate 9, the usual noise. I noticed the 2 dock enforcers the edge of my attention on the way you notice things when you've spent enough years noticing things for a living. They were working the terminal in a loose circuit. Not random, not patrol exactly. Looking for something soft. The way certain types of authority always look for something soft when the terminal is busy, and the supervisors are occupied elsewhere. They came to a stop in front of Gate 11. The one on the left was broad, slate blue, plating across his shoulders, the Halvari Transit Authority emblem on a chest badge that looked newer than his boots. The one on the right was younger, his crest still the pale color they get before they harden. He had the look of someone who had been told this was going to be easy. Human, said the one on the left. Not a greeting, a categorization. That's right, I said. Companion animal documentation. Present it. I reached into my jacket pocket and produced Sergeant's transit chip. The standard galactic companion animal certification. Updated last spring. Valid for another 3 years. I held it out. The enforcer took it, looked at it for approximately 2 seconds, and handed it back without reading it. The animal requires a Class T biological containment carrier for transit through a Halvari-administered terminal, he said. Regulation 14, subsection 9. He's in a carrier, I said. Sergeant was in fact in a soft-sided carry harness under the bench. The harness was rated for animals up to 22 kilograms. Sergeant was 18. Everything was in order. Class 2 requires hard-shell containment with sealed ventilation panels. I looked at him. That's not what the regulation says. I've read it. There is an administrative handling fee for non-compliant containment. 80 credits, payable now. The animal is transferred to dock holding pending a compliance review. I set my coffee down on the bench beside me. Sergeant opened one eye. He didn't move, didn't lift his chin from my boot. He just opened his left eye the way he does sometimes when there's a change in the room. Not alarm, not interest, just a small calibration. The eye is clouded a little now the way they get at his age. The tag on his collar caught the terminal light. It's a plain metal tag, military issue, the kind that doesn't corrode. I've had it longer than I've had anything else in my possession. I said his name once, quietly Sergeant. That was all. The younger enforcer had been looking at his data screen, filling in what I assumed was the beginning of a fine test. He wasn't looking at the dog. The senior enforcer was. I watched the change happen in his face, not fast, not dramatic. A small stillness, the kind that comes before a body decides to do something different than what it came here to do. His eyes went from the tag to the old gray face resting on my boot, and then to the tag again. Behind him, 20 feet away near the Gate 10 corridor, a Halvari officer in full transit authority dress had stopped walking. He was senior. Whoever he was, the crest coloring and the insignia said so. He was on his way somewhere. He had, by all appearances, stopped on his way somewhere, because he had glanced over and seen what was under the bench. At gate 11. He looked at the dog for a long moment. Then he looked at the two dock enforcers. Then he turned around and walked in the other direction, at a pace that was not quite hurrying, but was moving with definite purpose towards somewhere. That was not here, the younger enforcer noticed. He lowered his data screen. The terminal does what terminals do. The cargo crew near Gate 9 were still arguing. A group of robed officials walked past in a cluster, talking to each other about something that had nothing to do with any of us. A boarding announcement went out over the PA system in 3 languages. The senior enforcer said nothing for a moment. Then he said, "The documentation appears to be in order." "Yes," I said, "safe transit." He said it flat, without looking at me. He was already moving, the younger enforcer half a step behind him, both of them resuming the circuit of the terminal floor, as though Gate 11 had never been a stop on the route at all. I picked up my coffee. Sergeant closed his eye. His belly went on rising and falling. 40 years ago, Sergeant's bloodline was attached to the 14th Frontier Support Battalion as working K9 units. Not the combat type, the kind the brochures write about. These were the dogs that moved through forward positions after the shooting stopped, hating things the equipment missed. The 14th operated in 3 contested sectors before the Halvari Compact was signed, and by the end of it, the battalion dogs had developed a reputation that had nothing to do with their size or their teeth. Halvari veterans know the tag. The ones who were there, or whose families were, know what it means when an old Earth dog is wearing it, gray-faced, unbothered, in a busy terminal. They know it means the dog was there. They know it means the dog is still here. Sergeant snored once, shifted his chin on my boot, and settled back into whatever old dogs dream about. PA announced that boarding for Veth Station had begun at Gate 14. I finished the terrible coffee, gathered my bag, patted him once on the flank, my hand on his ribs, feeling the old warmth there. He got up the way he always does, slowly and with dignity, stretched his back legs out one at a time, and walked beside me toward Gate 14. No leash, he's never needed one. The terminal went on around us, and nobody looked twice at the old man and the old dog walking through it. And that was exactly how I liked things. Some words you earn. Retired is one of them.